Hi, Raj and DK and Shahid. It's nice to have you all with us with here at Khaleej Times. My first question is for Raj and DK. You guys have always been innovative with content, whether it's Shore in the City, 99, Family Man, and now Farzi. As directors and screenwriters, how is Farzi different from anything you've done before, and how did the idea for the story first come about?
I'll take the first part of it. It's like you said, we've been all the stuff we've done so far. Each one has been different from the previous one, and see that has been the uh, idea also behind Farzi. It's very different from anything else we have done. Just like Go Go Agone was different from Shore, or Family Man is different from this, or Spree was different from everything else. So is Farzi different from the Family Man specifically, both being series? And so it's a very unique concept. It's a very special concept. I don't think it's ever been done on screen before, like in any format for that matter. The world that we are showing and creating.
Idea, well, see, that's what we always look for. This idea was there for a long time, but we need to let things fall in place. So the idea was that let's do it against the backdrop of counterfeiting, is what the idea was. But then that's just the backdrop. And then we were waiting to see how to develop the main protagonist. So once we hit upon the idea that we bring in art into counterfeiting, an artist that can make the perfect note, then we had a very unique idea. And like DK was saying, it's such a unique idea that it kept us fueled for many years to get this subject going.
And what made you think of approaching Shahid?
Like from the day the idea was conceived, he's been a part of it.
And Shahid, as someone who's been part of Bollywood for the past 2 decades and given us many memorable films, how does it feel to be shifting base now and making your debut on OTT with Raj and DK?
Well, it doesn't feel very different. I know people are using the word debut and all, but the fact is that it's another job, and you kind of start with that childish kind of excitement and curiosity before every project. Of course, this is a long format, and it's going to be viewed differently from how a film is viewed most of the time. So one is aware of that, one is conscious of that, and I'm curious to see how people respond to that. But I always felt that Farzi was a very, very, very interesting, unique idea. When I heard it, everything about it was fresh and different. It was written with a lot of quirk and a lot of drama and action. So it had a really unique blend of different moods, different characters, with a very kind of original backdrop setting, so to say. We've seen so many shows which are about gangsters, all kinds of criminals, but I don't think anybody really knows why somebody becomes a counterfeiter or where they come from. Like Raj said, it's a faceless kind of crime. So, everything about it was fresh. So I just wanted to be a part of something like that. And Raj and DK was somebody whose work I was really, really enjoying. And we had kind of discussed this idea as a film earlier. So it all just happened. I guess it was just meant to happen like that.
And, in one of your recent interviews, I read you've called it fluid and contemporary. Do you feel working on this series has brought out a different side of you as an actor?
Story, if it is original, every character, if it is written well and offers you something new to do, should bring out something new in you. It's not the best thing to keep repeating yourself. And I think of the material that I have read in the last 5 years, 7 years, this is one of the freshest. So Sunny for me is a very original, very different, very fresh character. At the same time, I think Sunny has all the nuances that people have enjoyed of me. He's edgy, he's a little irreverent, he's anti-establishment, so to say. He doesn't like the system of rich and poor. He's a middle-class guy, and he's young. He's a guy off the street. He is an artist who wants to express himself. And I think that's the angst of the youth today. I don't think they feel understood.
Yeah.
They feel like everything that they want to say is not being heard. And I think many of them are ahead of the older generation. I think because of the amount of information and exposure that they have, I feel like the 20-somethings today are far more exposed than a 35, 40-year-old. And so they always struggle with that because they have no experience and they're younger, so nobody takes them seriously, but they probably have a lot to say. And I think that also comes through Sunny's character like really well in the show.
And my next question is for all three of you, actually. There's a dialogue in the trailer, "Sabke andar chor hai, sirf chance ke liye wait karte hain." Do you believe that there's a kind of moral ambiguity that exists in all of us? And is it important to bring out such aspects of real life on screen as well?
Yes, that moral ambiguity is a part and parcel of all of us, right? I mean, this is what you see in the trailer, but very simply put, all of us have gone through a situation where we say, "Asli bill chahiye, kacha bill chahiye. Asli bill hai to GST hoga." How many times have you taken a kacha bill saying, "I don't want to pay the GST"? Or you want to buy a house, somebody says, "Ye white mein de do, ye black mein de do." How many of us might have done that? Or if somebody was to offer you something without tax, but I won't give you a bill, you would take it, right? So all of us have, at some level, at a smaller, much smaller level perhaps, we've always tried to find a way to beat the system. It may not look like a criminal offense, but at its own level, all of us are morally ambiguous. We're always trying to find a shortcut.
And it's important to bring traits like this on screen because we tend to whitewash quite a bit. Our heroes have always been perfect and always been the righteous good guys, and the women are even more played in a very
one-dimensional form. Yes.
So I really feel that every time we do it, we really like flaws in the especially in the leading characters, the protagonists, because bad guys are bad guys. You've seen them, but in fact, I want to bring out the good in the bad guys also. So idea is to find these flaws and let them be a flawed character.
And Shahid, do you have anything to add to that?
I find it funny that we are discussing that, oh, that's happening. I mean, like, that's so 2010 or whatever. Like, I think it's pretty evident where cinema is going. And I think we know that people want real stuff. Of course, there are genres which are all about that impossible perfect hero, but those are not story-driven genres. Those are itemized, kind of more movie, big scale, go in, have a good time, have some popcorn, come out, enjoy the big sequences. That's that, and that genre has merit in what it does. But when it comes to story and character, and when it comes to giving people a different experience in terms of the journey of those characters, the relationships, the drama, the humor, the sad moments, the moments of victory. I mean, for me, that's always cinema. And you cannot make films like that unless you create characters who are real. And for them to be real, they have to be imperfect. And if they're imperfect, they're not black or white, they're gray.
And, I really enjoyed the trailer. It's a thriller, but a kind of a dark comedy as well. How important is it to bring that element of humor to this story?
They can't help themselves, Raj and DK. Tell themselves, we're going to take this scene really seriously, and then they just come up with 3 great punchlines and nobody can say no. What do you do?
Yeah, no, I think a good message goes down well with a slightly tongue-in-cheek, funny pill, rather than being serious and preachy about whatever it is that we're saying. So it comes naturally. It's always organic. We don't look for gags. We don't try to find a joke to throw in. It just naturally flows. And
it's a good tool to, I think looks like, if I think about it, it's a vehicle we use to say something that would otherwise be maybe cheesy or preachy, so it's a good package or a vehicle to say a lot of things.
And I was reading some of the fans' comments below the trailer. They're very excited to see you, Shahid, with Vijay Sethupathi, who plays the cop to your con man. What was the experience of working together like?
Well, I kind of came onto the project when it was still being developed. And I think about 5-6 months after that, Raj and DK kind of checked with me that, we're thinking of going with, Vijay Sethupathi. Are you comfortable? So I was like, that's the best news I've heard in a while. And I was really happy to have somebody as brilliant as him and as, refined an artist and, a huge star to fill the cop's role, because, the film is about these characters. I actually feel like this show has characters who are, each character has their own journey. And, at the face of it, yes, it's me and Vijay sir and Rashi, and, but I feel every character has his own journey. And we needed great actors to do it. And we knew that the minute we have like me and Vijay sir and, then KK sir and then Rashi, and, it creates that feeling that, this might be a lot of fun. We want to see it. And when you see the trailer, every shot has so much value because somebody so substantial is in it. So I was very, very happy to get the opportunity. It was great working with him. He comes across as this pure artist inside. He wants to do new, different stuff. He's very instinctive, very much like how I am. He just comes up with things just before the shot. And that's always very exciting. I like that.
And OTT has given many creative people, whether they're actors or filmmakers or writers, the chance to shine and create content which may not always work on the big screen. So what are your thoughts on the growth in popularity of this medium over the past couple of years?
Saying that what works on OTT might not work in a movie, it's kind of the same the other way around, right? What works in a theater might not work on OTT. The fact that a movie which works in the theater, when it comes on OTT, might not work. So I think the people who are creating that content and who are doing it successfully, they know where they are taking that content. Like I felt very strongly when I saw Raj and DK's work in Family Man, and they actually had a technical conversation with me about it, explaining to me how they divide the 3 acts. And that's always stayed with me. I don't know if they remember, but I remember Raj and DK told me how to do it. It's their secret, so I won't reveal it. But it was so nice to know how they were structuring the screenplay, how they were breaking the story down to build it over 8 episodes. I think they have a great team of writers working with them. Sita and Suman and Raj and DK are just like a killer combination. They just bring so much to the table together. And so they know what they're doing on OTT. And that's why they are so successful and people are liking their work so much. And that's why when I did Farzi, I was so happy to collaborate with them because I felt I was coming onto a newer platform and it was nice to work with people who have already understood it. It made me feel more secure. I think I made them feel insecure sometimes, but they made me feel very secure.
My last question to all 3 of you. COVID had heavily impacted the film industry, and that, I think, in a way contributed to the growth of OTT also. But now, big films like Top Gun, Avatar, Pathan, etc. are bringing people back in a big way to the cinema. So in spite of the growth of OTT, do you feel cinema is a medium that can never really die?
It's nice to have both options. It should be great to go out and have great fun with friends and family, go for an outing. Why do you want to be cooped up at home all the time? Even though that's what all the platforms will want you to. But I'm saying, why? Get out, watch movies, come back, and at your comfort, watch another medium. So, I really hope the cinemas will go strong. And in fact, we need more theaters. And if there are more theaters added across India, we'll have more people going in.
There are certain movies you want to go and watch in a theater and you're dying. And that's not true for everything. Forget about movies. I'm saying when it's a series, of course, it's a more immersive experience. You're sitting in your private space and spending hours watching it. If it's a movie, especially if it's a spectacle, like you said, Top Gun or Pathan or Avatar, all these movies, these are meant to be watched on a really big screen and as a group experience. Later on, you can still watch it at home on your TV for a rewatch. Of course, that's what the platforms are there for.
And lastly, Shahid,
I'd go watch Game of Thrones in the theater if I could. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. You just can't sit for 8 hours, no? That's the only problem.
I mean, I'd watch it maybe over 3 days. But if it's good enough, like if it gets me hooked in, I'll go again. I want to know how it finishes. That's the beauty of cinema. Like once it hooks you in, you just want to know, right? But what I was trying to say is that it really depends on the nature of content. Is it the kind of content that deserves to be seen or viewed on a bigger screen? or is it more an immersive experience which you'd like to see in the privacy of your home, spread over a certain period of time because like the story is going to unfold. So I think like everything is a preset.
Yeah.
Human beings are habitual in nature and they have these presets, right? So if their preset is that I want to chill at home and watch something, the nature of content that they watch will be different. If they're going for a 2 hour, let's have some fun, whistle, eat some popcorn kind of an experience, then they'll want to do it, maybe in the theater. So it really depends on what they're in the mood for.
And lastly, Shahid, what would you like to say to your many fans here in Dubai and the UAE?
Well, I was there and I spent a few months in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. I was shooting a film with Ali Abbas, which will be out sometime this year. So I spent a lot of time actually in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. I've always loved coming that side, and it's very close to home. And it feels very much like home because there's a lot of Indians, Asians, people who watch our movies. Yeah, so I'm only thankful and grateful and full of a lot of love and gratitude to all those people who, watch our movies even before the Hindi audience, the Indian audience is able to see it because, it releases earlier. It used to,
Earlier.
I think, come Friday again, but earlier it was a Thursday.
No, it still releases on Thursday, actually.
Releases on Thursday. You guys get to see it. So I remember every time a film's out, like the first people to give us reviews would be, from Dubai or from, somewhere and we'd be like, so is it nice? Is it nice? Are people liking it?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the strongest memories. So a lot of love and gratitude.
Thank you guys so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.